So I work for a company that does a little bit of web app stuff, and I have a tool that's sort of named after what it does. It's called a SQL injector, right? It's not rocket science. And so, you basically copy paste the URL, you click the button that says go, and it starts going. And while it's going, I'm talking to them about the bad things that can happen from SQL injection and such, and I'm getting this. Apparently, I'm wasting their time. So immediately, about a minute into this, there's a little box that pops up, and it shows the machine's name, the SQL version number, and the IP address. Right. So the guy, the security guy now, has kind of got this small smile creeping across his face, and DBAs in the back are like, "Huh, that's probably not good." But they're not panicked yet, and so I'm trying to explain that hacking, this really isn't hacking. It's just sort of stumbling through accidental fail. So I get there. I look over to see folks. Can I get your permission to see this button over here? It says get rows. Can I do that just for posterity? He goes, yeah, go ahead. Click. Within about 30 seconds, we had about 20% of the database on my laptop, the row names and stuff. Then we got the column names. And it only gets better from there. So at that point, I decided I was going to really kind of show them, beyond what a tool can do, because now I'm extracting data, so I can own your data, which is cool. And now they're slightly panicking. Security guy smiles just a little bit bigger. And so I open I'm writing out a command line. It's got the command string. Stop me if you've heard this. Net user add administrator. Okay. So. There's a guy in the back that at that point just goes, whoa, stop. And the entire
live demo over.
And the entire room at that point does one of these. And not being able to help myself, I said, what's up? He's like, well, I think that's good enough. He's like, I really don't think we should go any further. Why? Right. So what could possibly go wrong? And so he looks at me and he says, well, here's the deal. I don't know if we can talk about, I can't really know if we can talk about it because you guys are technically a vendor and we should. And the CISO looks at him and says, well, we're here to learn, Mark. Why don't you just go ahead and tell us? At this point, I think he may have crapped himself. Because here's where it gets really good. So normally when I look at a database and I've got full access to your machine, I can pop all the data. That's pretty good, right? I'm pretty happy. I'm a happy guy. It's life's pretty easy. So the fact that it gets better from there is like sprinkles on ice cream. It's just delicious. So by the way, Mike, did you notice the room filled up?
Yeah. People are just waking up, or maybe they're just looking for somewhere to sleep.
You guys rock. Anyway, so back to this.
Yes.
They came for the fireside chat.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll hurry us along. So he says, he goes, don't hit enter. I'm like, well, you can just delete. It's just a local account. You can delete it later. And he goes, well, look. We went through this round of server consolidation. There was a lot of extra hardware glut, and this box was overbuilt. So we had to consolidate this instance of SQL Server. I'm like, really? And he says, well, the architects decided that because there was similar classifications of data, that the ERP system should live on it. Right. The fact that this gets better just is a testament to how really bad things get. So the security guy is now smiling just a little more. And I'm actually really interested. Because this is a level of fail I haven't seen in a while. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm like, yeah, I know. So you can do things across the different SQL instances and stuff. And that's pretty bad. I'm like, yeah, but at least you're still limited. He goes, well.
The fire is over. Should we try a campfire?
There is more.
You're relaxing it.
So as he says, nice. The relaxing fishies. So, and now he's explained to me that because the ERP front end app was written in, guys ready for this? DCOM. And it didn't work across the firewall. That server is where? On the inside. That's right. And so the security guy now has a smile that goes from about this ear to this ear. And if he goes like this, his head might flip over. So I'm like, wow, that is, I'm like, that's pretty special. You should, like, yeah, that really is a bad idea. Like, so if I, I'd be making myself a username on your internal network. And he goes, actually. And at this point, you're asking yourself, how? Do we kill kittens? Well, folks, because these guys had decided to do this so well, corporate security policy dictated that all internal Windows machines had to be on the domain. And because of server consolidation, you know the rest of that. So if I would have hit enter, I would have been what?
God.
Administrator on the domain.
You would have been God.
So what?
Is there more?
Yeah, no, there isn't anymore.
Right.
But at that point, my security contact, he's looking at me, and he might have actually wet himself. Because this is a completely unanticipated failure. And so he goes, so what do you recommend first? The sales guy that was with us just looked at me, and I as serious as I could say it, as seriously as I could say it, I looked at him dead in the eye and said, "Turn it off."
Yes.
But yeah, that's probably my best one. I've run into that twice now, where I mean, look, let's be realistic, right? Corporations have everybody's server consolidating, virtualizing, pushing to the cloud. Sorry, that was for Hoff. He's probably not here.
Yeah, he's gone. He flew out this morning.
Oh, flew out this morning on a Cisco plane. He's now
let's
virtual.
talk more about web services.
Yeah, go back to your web service. You guys ready for more? All right, Mikey, take it over, buddy.
Money is cool. People manage their money through web applications, and that's convenient, but it's not necessarily such a good idea. The online banking, things like that, they get hacked over. Well, actually, you don't really hear about it that often, but they do get hacked all over the place. Or at least all the ones I've looked at have vulnerabilities. My mortgage company, actually, I've been fighting with them actually, I've moved away now, so hopefully I'll be done with them soon. But I've been fighting with them for 3 years.
Did you sell your house?
As soon as I do sell it, I'm going to be done with it.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Anyways, their web application for managing my mortgage and my online banking and all that stuff, session ID is a timestamp. There's cross-site scripting, cross-site request forgery holes all over the place. I actually sent all these vulnerabilities to them. Okay, let's keep going, actually. My statements are actually PDFs that are just sitting there in the server.
Sequentially numbered, probably?
Sequentially numbered by your loan ID number.
Yeah, that's good.
And yeah, actually, during tax season, my social security number's in there too. Great.
In a publicly accessible folder?
Yes. I'm not even telling you guys where I live.
Yeah, he's not going to tell you what bank he uses, because you guys probably have this problem too.
All right. So I reported a whole bunch of issues to these guys. Their response comes back. All right, the timestamp issue, it's not a problem because we have a secret formula we use to generate that that session ID. I'm like, no, it's a timestamp. I did it. I stole my own session 3 times.
Trust me, I'm an expert.
Yeah, I know about these things. And they insisted that the cross-site scripting holes don't matter because they have countermeasures on the back end. I'm like, no, I stole my session 3 times. The PDFs, they actually did apologize for that and remove those are just the PDFs with my social security number in them from the server. But the links are all actually. I actually just got that wrong. They removed the links from the server. The PDFs are still up there until I complained the second time.
Put the fish back.
We got different aquariums now. Piano, rain music, nature scenes. All right. Is this okay? Whoa, no. I do not need
anything that says name that fish. You just don't know what's coming up on screen. So nobody wants like a Lindsay Lohan shot or anything.
David Soxby's Reef Aquarium.
I went there. Okay.
All right, so that's the online banking apps. These are the online banking apps. They're pretty bad. They're not the worst out there. Who's heard of My Money? It's actually not very big, and there's a good reason for it. Online banking through Facebook. It's a Facebook app. Dude, this is a terrible aquarium.
That is quite possible.
Or it's like Quentin Tarantino style.
Fish are all packing.
Reservoir fish.
Reservoir fish. Beautiful.
I like it.
Go back to the fireplace.
Yeah, we're going to go back to the fireplace. Fire. I'm stoking up the fire now. All right. So, My Money, Facebook app for what?
Hands up on the table. You don't want to be stoking up the fire.
Oh, okay. Anyways, it has vulnerabilities like the fact that you can put a different Facebook user's user ID in and get a different profile to come up. You have to guess which users are actually using this My Money app, but it's not hard because there's a list of the fans. And the advertisement page for this from this company that created it, it says something to the effect of you can harness the power of social networking to advertise your bank or some shit like that.
Yeah. Get robbed on the net. Free.
Yes.
Sponsored by the RBN.
Yeah. So My Money's bad, but that's at least they're trying to make things private. Well, sort of ish. Blippy. Everybody's used Blippy. I use Blippy. I want everybody to know what I'm buying. All right. Blippy is awesome. Let's just skip that one, actually. We don't have time for it. That'll bring me off into an angry rant. What else do I have?
Wait, what has this been so far?
This is my depressed, hungover rant. I have many flavors of rants. All right. Where should I go next? Source code. What?
So while the hamster's getting back on the wheel, one of the we work with we want to talk about web services for just a second, and
just a second we'll talk about web
for just a second because I think that was the title of the talk at some point. If anybody's a can of Dr. Pepper, I've always wanted to say, trust me, I'm a doctor, and hold that up, so I'd appreciate that.
If anybody has some beer, I want beer.
Dude, it's...
What?
Dude, it's way too early.
Okay, go.
It's way too late to be drinking. So lately, there's a talk I'm working on called No Rest for the Wicked, and REST stands for Representational State Transfer, as if you guys know RESTful Web Services. Now, does anybody know the main problem that I could possibly have with REST as a security person? Wow, it's insecure. The answer up front was it's insecure.
Good answer.
No, because REST calls are entirely unstructured. So I'd like to. I'm a testing kind of guy. I like to poke and prod at things. So if you're writing something, I need to be able to write a script or create something that will test it. The problem with REST is every developer gets to choose how they implement it. Right. For those of you that are, I don't know why people are still coming in. For those of you that are
Is there a good talk next? Should we stay afterwards?
Yeah, there must be a really good talk after us. So for those of you new to the room, we're playing a game called What Could Possibly Go Wrong. When I do this, everybody should say, what could possibly go wrong? Right, cool. So testing these things is evil, and I think the only people that actually write RESTful web services are the ones that either don't know how to code or are too lazy to follow rules. There's this whole thing about how APIs are if you really need a lightweight API, go with REST. I prefer to say that if you don't ever want to document what you're doing,